Yeah, don't ask me to remind.
Well, I did.
I lose shit everywhere. I left stuff on planes. I leave stuff every time we stay
every
somewhere.
B&B we ever stay at.
Yeah, I lose stuff everywhere, man. Anyway, Gary, finally.
Been a long time.
Been a long time coming. There's two things we've struggled to do is get you on my podcast and me to your event.
Yes. Neither one of them has happened. Well, now one of them's happened.
I got to one day of your event. Not even one day, the pre-day.
No, it was before. It was like welcome to town event.
Yeah.
So it was a day of the event, a night of the event.
Probably the best part of it, though, like the party.
Well, the next night was the better night.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Don't tell me that. So every year you invite me to BitBlockBoom. And every year, what do I tell you?
That you can't come because I think you're doing something with your kids.
Yeah, so it's when we go on holiday.
Yeah.
It's always that August weekend is when we go away and have our family holiday. And then this year, you've moved it.
To April.
And I would have normally been able to come.
And you can't. But, I thought that was pretty nice of you. You sent me, I can't remember if there's a message or a text or what, telling me that you were doing your event on the same weekend as mine.
Yeah.
And if you'd have known, you wouldn't have done it. And I'm like going, I don't care.
I know, but do you know what it was? I think it's because we spoke with Parker. And we're like, Parker, do you want to come to our event? He's like, that's the same weekend as BitBlockBoom. I was like, no, BitBlockBoom's in August. He's like, no, Gary's moved it because of the halving and because of Bitcoin more Nashville now. And I was like, God damn it. So one, it means I can't go, and two, we've got a thing going on. But then I think it's a celebration. It's two big events, loads going on.
And believe me, there are enough Bitcoiners to go around. I don't think either one of us. I don't think either one of us are going to go, oh my God, that son of a bitch, he took all the Bitcoiners.
Well, I think most of the people coming will probably be UK and Europe based for us anyway.
That's what I would think. So also, so that there's plenty of Bitcoiners to go around though, and we both can have a great conference on both sides of the ocean,
the sea,
the
Atlantic. Yeah. So I think it's just permanently set in stone that I will never make your event.
No, you'll make it.
Everyone says how brilliant it is as well. I mean, I only got there one night, right? We went to this huge. What would you call it? It's like a huge barn. I guess.
Yeah, it was a bar. It was a country western bar. Yeah.
And we got drunk, and some people line danced. I didn't, but I watched and wanted to.
That's the thing you do here. I remember when I moved out here, like in 1979, all these people were line dancing. I had never seen it before because I grew up on a small island in South Carolina. And I was like, what in the hell are these people doing? This kind of weird dance. I thought it was so weird. Because they just dance in a circle.
Yeah.
I mean, over and over and over in a big circle. Yeah.
I didn't know you moved here in 79. I thought you always lived here. I thought you were a Texan.
No, I'm a South Carolinian.
Oh.
I moved out here for 6 months in 1979, and I'm still here.
That's a long 6 months.
That was long. I worked for cable television.
Okay.
Back then, it was brand new. I mean, you had to go to new markets. No one knew what it was. Nobody wanted it. And we would train the sales force. Then we'd go to another town. And this was the best town I had been to, was Dallas-Fort Worth. I said, well, they were going to Louisville, Kentucky next. Nothing against Louisville, Kentucky, but Dallas was so good. I said, I'm just staying here.
You just stayed?
Yeah, I just stayed. I said, I can find a job here for sure. And then I met my wife in the meantime. And now I'm still here. I think within the last 10 years, my kids had a big party because I was officially a Texan. They said you had to live here half your life.
Oh, is that what it
is?
is?
This is something my kids came up with. I don't know if it's true or not. But they said it was true. So I said, okay, I'll go for it. It was a good reason to have a party.
Well, I always love coming out. It's my first time in Fort Worth, but I love coming out to Texas.
Yeah, Fort Worth is a good town. I live like 18 minutes from here.
You live in the better neighborhood.
Yeah, I live in a much better neighborhood than this.
God, we didn't even think to reach out to Gary. This is just to explain to people listening, because this has happened to us a couple of times. We've got not rugged.
We're in the hood.
We are in the hood. Yeah. So when we book on Airbnb, we look at the space and we look for a couple of things. Is there anything entertaining for us to do when we're here for the whole week? Is there a good table with a TV in front of it, and does it look spacious? And we're like, this one looks great. But we didn't do a street view and look up and down. And yeah, when the Uber turned up, I was like,
Well, luckily it's not 10 years ago, or I might be calling someone to come help me get to my car.
Oh, was it that bad?
This was a bad part of town. This was a real bad part of town over here, north side, Fort Worth.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's not even the worst hood we've ended up in. We had to leave one in Miami.
Yeah,
'cause
we
it
left
was
one.
super sketchy.
Yeah, as we got dropped off, they're like, quickly get your equipment inside. I was like, what? They said, you don't want your equipment on the pavement here. Get inside quick. And then we went in and the place was horrible.
And we had Kathy Wood coming. Like, we can't bring it here.
Yeah. And it was like, stupid thing was, it was like a $7,000 rental for the 2 weeks we were there. And we had to phone up and book somewhere straight away. And we got rugged in Miami twice.
Yeah.
But, this is perfect for, I was saying when I came in, this is perfect for where your audience is coming from.
Yeah.
I mean, it's basically a straight shot down the road, 2 miles.
To the conference.
Yeah.
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 And then you have like one of the best Mexican restaurants in Dallas, Fort Worth. You could walk to it from here. I wouldn't walk there, but you could.
So it hasn't improved that much if we should walk.
But we're near like Stockyard as well, aren't we?
That's right after the restaurant. Yeah.
Is that quite nice there?
Yeah, it's fun there, especially if it's if there's something going on like a college game going on or rodeos going on. But it's all year round. It's college stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, cowboy stuff. You have the Billy Bob's is right there. You have the White Elephant Saloon, which has been there forever. So yeah, this is a good area. It's just your area is not good.
God. Oh man. Well, listen, look, I didn't actually realize until today when we were prepping the show, your event has been going on longer than my podcast.
7 years.
7 years now.
Yeah.
I'm on my 6th year.
Yeah, this was the 7th year. I had been into Bitcoin maybe like 3 months when I decided I needed to hold a conference.
Oh wow! So you just went like straight in for a conference?
Yeah, I had done another conference. I was one of the founders of a conference called Podcast Movement.
Okay.
It's like, well, it still probably is the world's largest podcasting conference.
Okay.
And I had sold that, but I was involved with that for 6 years maybe before I sold it. So when I got into Bitcoin, first thing I did was start a podcast because I wanted to. I always like starting podcasts because I can contact the people who are at the top level and get all my questions answered. You know what I mean? I can go, hey, what is this? I'm not depending on this or that or this or that. I can find out anything I want to find out from the person who knows the most.
Well, I obviously know exactly what you mean. Oh, let's go back. I really want to understand this like pre-Bitcoin. Because I didn't. So, did you have a podcast before?
Yes.
So
yes.
What was that one about?
Well, I had one of the first 50 podcasts on the planet, probably.
What?
Wow.
Yeah, I started podcasting in, January of 2000, probably, or something. By 2004, I was in Time Magazine's 50 Coolest Websites.
Really?
For my podcasting stuff. But yeah, I started podcasting. I used to do a lot of e-commerce. I had about 40 e-commerce sites. And I had all these kids, high school and college kids, working for me, building all the sites. And one day I got this news clip an email, marketing email I received that says there's new things coming out called podcasting. So I said to one of them, hey, I don't know what this is, but we need to get into it, whatever it is. And over the college spring break or a Christmas break, he made a podcast directory, one of the first podcast directories before Apple even had podcasts. And so I started podcasting as soon as that came out in January of that year. And I didn't know that there were such a few amount of them, but it was like so new that there was only one other podcast directory. And every night I come home and go, Kathy, we just got our 20th podcast listed. There's 20 podcasts now. Now I came, Kathy, we got 100. We're really cooking now. There are 100 podcasts. But my first podcast, I owned a sporting goods business. Mm-hmm. So I was using it to market my sporting goods store. So I would interview people that were in sports.
Okay.
That was what we would do and talk about sports. So that was my first podcast back in, I guess it was 2004.
What was the tech back then?
Well, you had iPods. I just recorded it and gave it to one of my guys, and he did it all. Huh. But there was nowhere to just upload it like it is now and put in the directory and the notes and stuff. You had to kind of hand code it all in there, which I am not a coder. I'm just a guy good at telling coders what to do, and they can figure out how to do it.
And so from then you set up a podcasting conference.
Right. Well, yeah, so I was at the Blog World in Vegas, and I had done a one-day podcast seminar or something, just being a nice guy. I wasn't making any money. It was free. And someone came up to me and said, hey, I heard you had this podcast thing going on. He said, yeah, how'd it go? I said, well, it's fine. We had 100 people, I guess, show up. He goes, would you think about doing a bigger thing, bigger than that? And I said, well, not unless I'm going to have a lot of help because I'm way too busy to do it. He goes, so you do it if you had help? I said, yeah. So 5 minutes later, he came back with another guy and said, hey, this is the so-and-so. And we met and talked, and we all decided to do a podcasting conference. And so that's how it actually started, was just on the floor of Blog World. And actually, I did the least work of anyone there, and I've even told them that. But I was so heavily involved in it that I knew everybody. I mean, I could make phone calls and get sponsors, so I just called, hey, would you be a gold sponsor? Okay. Would you be the platinum sponsor? Okay, And so we rented out everything, and we wanted to do I think our goal was 300 people, and we ended up with 750 people.
At the first one?
Yeah.
Wow.
That was in Dallas, and we moved it to Fort Worth and had about 1,000 people. And it went across the country. Next year it went to Anaheim, was more. Next year it went to Chicago, was more. Next year Philadelphia is more. And finally, the last one I was involved with was Orlando, and it was about 3,500 people.
Wow.
So it got pretty big pretty fast because it was a growing, thing.
But it's, as an event, they're still running it.
Mm-hmm. They're still running it, yeah. It's called Podcast Movement. And they're very successful. Huh. I mean, I think they're still the world's largest podcast. But I learned a lot from that event.
Yeah.
So when I got into Bitcoin, it was like not that big of a leap to do the conference.
And there weren't many other conferences on at that point, right?
Not like there is now. I had been to another one called right away, I'd been in Bitcoin a week maybe, when I went to one in Austin called the Texas Bitcoin Conference. And I said, oh, this is a good one to go to, the Texas Bitcoin Conference. And it was in like a real estate office, I remember. And they didn't talk about Bitcoin, really. I mean, they had all these shitcoiners there and all these shitcoin companies there. And I'm sure there were a couple of Bitcoin people there. Like I met Drew from Unchained there.
Okay.
Yeah, so there were some Bitcoin people there. But the whole thing wasn't really a Bitcoin conference. It was just a conference of anything. I mean, all kind of things that aren't even in existence now. So I kind of was like, wow, I think I'd like to go to that, but it'll all be Bitcoin. So I said, well, I'm going to do a Bitcoin conference.
How did you find Bitcoin? And why did it resonate?
Well, actually, it's, I don't ever hear really anyone saying this, but I hear people saying that people just make that shit up when they say what I'm going to say. First time I heard it, I was told it was like online stock. And I was going, oh, the hell with that. I don't want to get involved with that. And it's about 100 when I heard that. And then the next time Adam Curry was talking about it, and it was about 1,000 at that time. And so I kind of paid more attention to it, but someone had given him 30, as a tip, and he was talking more about how he had it, but didn't really go into the explanation. Then I was speaking at a conference in Dallas, and that's where I really got into it. I was walking, I just got through talking, I'm walking down the hallway, and a group of my friends were over there all talking, and I go to listen, and one of them, Tony's talking about Bitcoin to all of them. But he's explaining it as an internet protocol, the missing protocol, the only protocol that was left for money. And that really, I don't know why, but that really interested me, the protocol part of it. So they all just walked away, and I still don't think any of them are in Bitcoin. And I said, hey, could you tell me more about that? I missed the first half. So we sat on the couch, and it was about 1 o'clock. And I think at 6 o'clock, we were still sitting on the couch talking about it. And I got in my car, subscribed to him, found a podcast about it, listened on the way home. When I got home, I called him up, said, hey, are you going to be at that conference tomorrow? He said, sure. Drove back out. We talked about when his house, he was mining Zcash on GPU miners and converting that into Bitcoin at the time. And he showed me how it worked. And we talked about it till like 6 in the afternoon again. And so when I went home, I got on Coinbase and said, I'm buying Bitcoin. And started buying Bitcoin.
Wow, so you got it pretty quick at that point.
Yeah, well, it's just explained to me. It's something that held my interest. I got it, but I had 12 hours one day and 12 hours the next day. Most people don't sit there in 2 days, talk 24 hours about a subject. But they pick 3 hours here, an hour there, 3 hours there.
But you made a choice to do that. You made a choice to go back.
Yeah, well, I found it intriguing. I mean, for sure.
But then if you discover podcasts early and had e-commerce size, sounds like you've probably always been kind of interested in innovation.
I was going to say, I've always kind of been, I feel like I was way behind on this, even though I was exposed to it, just because if I hadn't been exposed to it by the people who had, I might have got it sooner. But yeah, like when I'd started my e-commerce sites in 96, everybody said I was an idiot. No one's going to buy that stuff on the internet. And I said, well, I would buy it. So, and then the same thing when I would tell people about podcasting, because I was so excited about it, they go, why would I listen to that? I got a radio in my car. I go, well, this is way better than the radio in your car. But some people don't see it until it's there.
Yeah, but you say you feel like you were late, but the longer this goes on, the earlier you were.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, there'll be a point, I guess, when anyone who bought under 10,000 is going to look like a rocket scientist. Because they're going to be so early compared to the price that it is in the future.
£80 was my first Bitcoin, and I don't own any of the Bitcoin from that era because I'm an idiot.
I've never sold any of my Bitcoin.
Ever.
Actually, if I buy Bitcoin, if I have to pay for something in Bitcoin, I buy new Bitcoin to pay for it. I look at dipping into my stack as being a crack addict. That first time you go to a party or you get drunk, you're around it, I do a little bit of that. It can't be that bad. Maybe you're going and buying pot from this guy and he's got some crack. I don't know where you get it, but you get exposed to it and you do some. Then that second time, it's a little bit easier to do some. By the third or fourth time, that's probably all you're doing. You know what I mean? So I feel like once I dip into my stack, the next time I want to do something, if I wanted to buy a car or something like that, I would dip into my stack again. Then if I wanted to buy a house or something, I'd dip into my stack again, which I'm not buying either one of those soon. I'm just making up.
So is your stack for other people?
No, it's for me. I just have a level of when I want to hit it.
Okay.
Yeah, I have a level, a dollar level.
Interesting. I take a different approach. I will always spend Bitcoin if it enables me to do something I could never have financially afforded to do, and I think I'll get like a happiness benefit out, like a house.
Yeah,
it's either gifts for other people or a house for me, and that's the only times I've sold it.
I'm at a place in life, due to my age and being successful my whole life, where I don't have anything to purchase anymore.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't even want to upgrade my house anymore. So there's nothing I want to. Anything I want, I could get it for cash.
Yeah.
So if I was in a different situation, I would be, but I'm not. So since that is the case, I have a level that I'm waiting for it to hit. Then when I hit that level, I'm going to start doing things that I would have never imagined in my life I'd be able to do, because I'm not saving it.
I want to know what's on that list.
Huh?
What's on that list? Can you tell me anything?
I don't know. I really don't. There's not much I want, but I know there's got to be stuff. You don't know what you don't know. You know what I mean? You don't know what you know, but I know there are things that I want to do, that I'm going to do, that when I have unlimited funds, I'll do, so if that makes any sense at all.
What about that lovely wife of yours? I bet she's got some things she wants to do.
Well, she wants to sell it. Yeah, she's already, but there's not much that she needs either, though, but she's like going, I knew we should have sold that stuff when it was 60. I knew we should have sold that stuff when it was 60. Yeah, I've heard that. The thing about Kathy is, she never watched Bitcoin ever, where I've seen it go to 20 and down, back down, and, blah, blah, blah. But she didn't start watching it until it was like 20 going to 69 or 70 or whatever.
Yeah.
And oh my gosh, she was excited. And so I was too. That was a big jump. But she felt it more than I did when it came down, because she'd never seen it drop.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So when it dropped down to 17, she's like, "Oh my gosh, I said, Kathy, we're still way the heck up. It doesn't matter. We're still way up, and this will come back." You always say that. I hear that all the time. That's what you always say.
Have you met Kathy?
Yeah, I think I met her once in Miami.
She's brilliant. I first met her that one night. Actually, we had it BitBlockBoom. She gave me my wristband.
Yeah, she's a hard worker.
She is.
She's a hard worker, and she's kept my ass straight for a long time. I probably wouldn't be anywhere close to where I am today if it wasn't for her keeping my ass straight.
That's brilliant.
But, she's a good worker. She's a good one.
So that first BitBlockBoom, I mean, that was pretty bold. 3 months in, you're like, I'm going to do an event. And we went back. We had to look at your guest list. That was a pretty good guest list, your first one.
And what's worse than that? Okay, here we got Saifedean Ammous coming.
Yeah.
We have Pierre Rochard coming. We have Tor de Meister coming. Tor lived there, so that wasn't. And we had Michael Goldstein coming. Yeah. And so we had these people coming, and we'd only sold we couldn't sell tickets for them, and they were cheaper than hell. But nobody was interested. And so I think going into a month into it, we had 20 tickets sold.
Okay.
And we had all these people come in. We're going, now we're at the point of almost being embarrassed. Going, we can't have all these people come to the event and have 20 people sitting out in the audience. This would be a definite nightmare. So I'm out every night going to, and I had a partner at the time who was working with me. We're out all the time going to meetups, just giving away tickets, getting anyone there we can get there. Now we got to have a full audience. And my philosophy was, and I said that with the first podcast movement, if we break even, we've been very successful. That was my thoughts to begin with. If you could break even on your first year, you did great. And so I just wanted to get the people in the audience so we weren't completely embarrassed. And everybody said, what a joke. No one was at his conference, blah, blah, blah. And I think we ended up with maybe 75 people there, which we spread them all out around, make it look like there was a lot of people there. But no one complained and everybody was happy and everybody enjoyed the conference. So it worked out. And financially, we had one guy who wanted to be the top sponsor. It was really the only sponsor we had. But he wanted to be the number one sponsor, and he said he'd only do it if he could pay in Bitcoin. I said, sure, sounds great to me. I think he ended up paying us like 1.5 Bitcoins, to be the sponsor that year. And so we were like, well, we got a sponsor. And then my partner wanted to do other things. So I said, well, I'll keep running the conference.
Yeah, well, I mean, we've got all those fears because we're doing our first one.
Yeah.
Look, the UK needs one. It doesn't, I think we've had adopting Bitcoin there, but this is kind of like the first of this type. Gary, all I think about is, will we have enough people there in the audience? And can we not lose money? They're the two things.
Well, that's what everybody thinks at the conference. I guarantee you right now, Tone's thinking that because he's in, the next one in December. He's like, I hope I have enough people here. I hope I don't lose money. I mean, everybody thinks about that.
Well, the worst thing is we've done these little kind of live podcasts. It's almost like a test for us. And we sell tickets to those. But most, like at least half, maybe more, go in the last 2 weeks. And so you're waiting up to that like final moment. It's like, is it going to happen? Is it going to happen? Oh, phew, it happened.
And a lot's going to have to do, because ours is the same weekend.
Yeah.
So I can say this, a lot's going to have to do with what happens in January and stuff. And the price of Bitcoin. That last 2 weeks is good because you're at the highest price because normally you're going up, to create that urgency. So it's nice because you do have a little push at the end, but that push at the end, the last 2 or 3 weeks, isn't going to make the conference. So it really needs to. But if it starts, if this little dip we're having right now is one of those minor dips on the way to the moon, we should all be happy come April.
Well, we had it the other day when it went up like a couple of, because you can pay with fiat or Bitcoin on ours. Yeah. And most of our tickets have been people buying with like dirty fiat. But the other week when the price went up in Bitcoin, we sold like 4 in one day on Bitcoin, which was double the amount we sold in a week and a half in Bitcoin. And I was thinking, this is a signal.
Well, what really surprised me is last year for the 2023 conference, I had more sales in Bitcoin than I've ever had, even though the price was really down, compared to what it had been. Not down compared to like my first or second one, but compared to the last 2 years.
It's the only money we had.
Yeah.
We're all poor.
So people were, maybe because they all were buying, I was like, wow, I'm getting a lot of Bitcoin here. I'm kind of liking this. Because like I said, that all just goes to my stash. That's just like my savings account.
So you did that first one and you had like 75 there, but you're like, I'm carrying on. And
yeah. Well, actually, and then we did BitBlock. And actually, it wasn't set up to be, I had never heard of the term Bitcoin maximalist.
Okay.
And it wasn't set up as a Bitcoin maximalist conference, but the next day at Sunday, at our Sunday brunch, we always do a brunch on Sunday for people who, have a few hours before they fly out and they want to do some networking before they go. And Safedine said to me, man, this is the first Bitcoin maximalist conference, I think, in North America. And I was like, can you say that again? Let me get my camera.
Yeah. You never got once sucked into shitcoins?
No, well, I had a lot of not ASIC miners, but the GPU miners.
Yeah.
I mean, I had a ton of them running, but I was mining Zcash and converting it all to Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't. I had a warehouse. See, I had this warehouse across the street across the parking lot.
How many businesses and things have you had?
I've had a lot of businesses. I'd say I'm a serial entrepreneur, but I get burnt out on my businesses once I get them successful, and I kind of move on to the other one.
Does this sound like anyone you know?
Yeah, I was just thinking the exact same thing.
Yeah, so that's what I do. So, but we had this warehouse was filled with mining machines with 1080 Ti's and things like that, because we have free electricity. And
Free?
So, free. Yeah, it was free.
Was it free because it was fixed rate, or you were
No,
like?
it was free. It was totally free.
How was it free?
Well, this building had been there since the 70s, and the landlord had 1 meter. Back then, a lot of places, my first apartment complex had free electricity when I moved to Texas. So a lot of places like that, so they had 1 meter running because they weren't charging people, so they didn't need the infrastructure of all the meters running. And this was an old building, had like 6 little shops in it, and I used the one on the end as a warehouse to store my stuff, my sporting goods. And I said, gosh, I got this free electricity. So I just started hooking up machines. And I remember that thing was so hot in there because it was so old, didn't have any insulation. So in the summer, it was 110 outside, and I was running those machines inside, and I couldn't really turn the air conditioner on because the air conditioner froze up all the time, trying to cool it down. And so that was a mess. So I remember one day I was walking over to the little convenience store, and my wallpaper store was on the other side of it, because that softball store and wallpaper store.
A wallpaper store?
Yeah, that was my original business. I had the largest wallpaper store in Texas. And so I had both of those running, and Kathy had taken over the wallpaper store, because I said, I'm either shutting this wallpaper store down or you're taking it over, one of the two. I'm tired of helping these little old ladies walking in here with a pillow. Can you help me match this? So she took it over. But anyway, I was walking over there, and I saw the electric company. And so I was right by my building. And I was like, what are you guys doing? He goes, oh, this damn landlord thinks this electric meter's broken. I'm sure he did. You're running all these machines in there. I had figured out the maximum amount I could have on each plug, because the room was divided into fourths, the area, without blowing fuses. So I was running the maximum stuff I could in there. So that was funny.
How do you get into wallpaper?
Well, I was in the mini blinds.
Okay.
The little 1-inch blinds that people put in their window. I think back in 80, maybe 1980, my wife had a friend at school who was selling those part-time, and she started selling those part-time. And I had done door-to-door sales with cable TV. When we would go to towns, we'd teach people how to go door-to-door. And so I was like, oh, this is nothing. And there were so many houses being built in Texas at the time, so many that we could walk down one side of the street, cut across the street and come back, and maybe we made $3,000, $4,000, and when they move in the house, to give you the tip, they put sheets on their windows because they need privacy right away. So you just walk down the street, and in new neighborhoods, well, there's sheets on the windows, and they, oh, come on in. We were wondering where we were going to get those at, because Home Depot didn't even have them at the time. It was hard to find them, and so we were making money hands over fists for being young kids. We thought it'd never end. We were renting limos just to go to Dallas, to go to a nightclub, you're traveling to Europe. I mean, we never thought it'd end. But then when that started ending, I said, well, let's do wallpaper. And so I transformed us into wallpaper. So that's how we became a wallpaper store. And then we ended up having the largest wallpaper store. I said it for 20 years. No one proved me wrong. So I guess I do. I said, I'm going to have that on the sign until someone proves me wrong.
How many businesses have you had?
I've had a lot. I mean, a lot. And I've had a lot of failures too. I think a lot of people are scared to do things because they're scared they'll fail. Where I think I've failed so many times in my life that I don't care. I'll just go ahead and go for it.
Well, I know it's like a cliche, but you learn from the failures. You sometimes learn more from the failures.
Yeah. I'm sure you do, but they're still never fun.
No.
Like I had to close up a store one time. One of my wallpaper stores, I had 2. I had to close it up, and I wouldn't even go to do it. I just sent people to do it. I wouldn't even go in the store.
Yeah. So when my advertising business failed, I'll never forget the day where, on the way down, we'd lost a massive client, and we had to let a third of our staff go, and you have to get the whole company together. You have to let them know that jobs are going to be lost, and then we have to go through the process, because we call it consultation in the UK, where you inform people they might lose their job, and then you tell them they're losing their job, and that was the worst.
Yeah, that would be the worst, because I don't have anymore because I don't do it, but I always had a hard time even firing someone. I didn't have a hard time firing them if they were a dick or they just didn't work. But if it was someone I needed to let go because they were trying their best, but they just weren't doing good enough for me, and I liked them, I had a real hard time with that. And Kathy didn't, but I sure did.
So you just gave it all to her?
Nah, she wouldn't come over to my store and do my work for me.
Wow. I feel like I feel there's some similarities between us.
Could be.
I think so.
Could be. I have a soccer shirt that I like.
There you go. You got a soccer shirt. We both podcasted. We've both done proper hustle jobs. So I sold double glazing door to door,
Oh,
and then did it on the phones.
I did phone sales in high school for Arthur Murray Dance Studio.
Really?
Yeah.
No, I did it for double glazing, and it was a numbers game.
Is that a window deal?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you would phone. It was above a McDonald's in Bedford. I'd go after school, and you would have to phone just constantly on the phone over and over and over just to try and get someone an appointment. And in a 3-hour shift, if you got one appointment, you've done well. Like you're just trying to get that one appointment, and the bell rings because they know they convert from a certain number of appointments. It was hard.
Yeah, I did phone sales for Arthur Murray Dance Studio when I was like 11th grade. But speaking of windows, I did storm window sales, in-home storm window sales. That was the best learning experience and training I ever had in my life. This company, nothing else, they knew how to sell products and they knew how to close doors. And everybody who worked there, our thing was, we're not salespeople, we're closers. Salespeople are the guys when you go into the store to buy some clothes, taking your order. That's the salesperson. We were like closers. When we got through, we'd been in there 3 or 4 hours, sometimes 5 hours with these sales.
Sounds very Glengarry Glen Ross.
Huh?
You seen that film, Glengarry Glen Ross? You ever seen that film?
No.
It's a good film. It's about sales.
This was high pressure, closing the door sales. One time, someone go, it's 6 o'clock, we're ready to eat. I said, well, what are we having? I still got 2 hours left on the sales pitch.
I think one of the most important jobs you can ever do is a tough sales job, whether it's sales or closing, something where you get told no all the time, constantly. I think that doing that double glazing sales set me up so well for life because I did the job for months. I spent months being told no, people hanging up on me. I mean, it's a brutal experience. Phone up, hello, and then. So one, you get to deal with rejection, but two, then you try and find an edge. The edge I found, we used to phone people up and say, we've been in your area delivering leaflets. We hadn't. Have you received one? Everyone was like, no. So I did a test. And so I went and got 1,000 of the leaflets and I went and delivered them to one area and I only phoned in that area. And I started to see like it's just this marginal increase because they had received the leaflet. And I just think it's a really important job because now, I don't know about you, but when you put on an event, I find it easy to phone up a sponsor and say, hey, do you want to sponsor this event or do you want to sponsor this podcast? Because I've dealt with so much no.
Yeah, the no is the deal. A lot of people are scared of no's. Like, I would take people who were whether on the phone or worked for me in person and they had to sell stuff, I'd say, and would not ask for the sale. A lot of people never ask for the sale.
Yep.
Someone comes to my house and they're selling something and they never ask me if I want to buy it.
Yep.
When he leaves, I say to Kathy, I guess he just wanted to show it to us. He never asked us if we wanted to buy it. And we purposely don't buy it if he doesn't ever ask us if we want to take the order. But, when I have that situation for someone who doesn't do that, I have them come out and say, now close your eyes. I want you to just get ready. No. And why didn't you jump? I thought you were really scared to hear that. I mean, because they're scared to hear that. And so I'm trying to get a point across to them that it's not a big deal. They're not going to start yelling at you or screaming at you or hitting you with a stick. They're just going to say, no, I don't want any.
Well, that's like talking to a girl. So whenever we used to go on holiday, me and my group of friends, I would be the guy. If they see a group of girls, I go, Pete, go and talk to them because I didn't care. I would just go and talk to them. I used to say, if they're not interested, what do you think is going to happen? Do you think they're going to point at me and make everyone in the bar laugh at us? Like, I'm going to go up, I'm going to try and talk to them, and they might not be interested. But most of the time, people are actually friendly and they want to talk to you, or they want to be spoken to, or want to join a group. And I think all the years of phoning those double glazed salespeople, I was like, oh, a no from a girl at the bar doesn't scare the shit out of me anymore.
Yeah, no's are nothing to be scared. But a lot of people have never been put in that situation of asking people for anything. Yeah, and they just don't want to ask for the sale. They just can't physically do it.
It scares them.
Yeah, scared. They're scared. Yeah.
So 7 years now, man.
Yeah, 7. This is the 7th year. This year hopefully we're going to be pretty close. I think the halving is going to be a few days after our event in the middle of the week.
I think so. Yeah.
I don't think I can nail it on the day, but really, it's a good time for a conference. Because that Monday is a total eclipse of the sun going over Dallas. So if people are flying in already, for the conference, they could fly in a few days early and discover Dallas and see a total eclipse. I don't think I've seen a total eclipse since I was like 8 or 9 or something. I mean, it'll happen every day wherever you're living.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are flying in town, from what I understand, for that, just in general. So they can do that. And then the next week's the halving. So I think a lot of people will come from El Salvador, spend time there and then fly over here.
Why did you move it to Dallas?
Well, a couple of reasons. Number one is Austin is so damn expensive.
Yeah.
Everything about Austin's expensive.
Yeah.
So like my hotel rooms this year went from, for people staying from like $250 a night to $150 a night. So $100 a night cheaper right there. There's a direct flight from anywhere to Dallas.
London. We flew in from London straight here.
Yeah. Where Austin is not a direct flight from a lot of places. And it's a lot cheaper flight to here than there. And number 3 is I'm almost 70. I mean, that's a lot of work doing it out of town. I mean, it really is. And then if I have to like meet someone or go to a venue or something, I got to go all the way to Austin, which is 3 hours. So it's just not quite enough to fly, but too far to drive, So it's just a lot of work. Made the event a lot harder and a lot less fun. So I decided that everybody really enjoyed the hotel we have it at this year. The last time we did it in Dallas, we're using that same hotel and everybody loved it. So we just went straight to that hotel, and it's 35 minutes from my house, so it's a lot easier. It's a lot cheaper. We were able to start the ticket sales off cheaper than we did the year before. So
nearly 70, man.
69 in March. I just say 70. My wife goes, "You aren't 70. I'm going, close enough."
My dad's birthday is March the 1st.
Mine's March 1st.
Really?
Yeah.
So you share a birthday with my dad.
What year is he born?
He's 48, so he's 6 years older than you, 7 years older than you, because he's going to be 76 in March.
Yeah.
He's 7 years older.
I was born in 55.
Yeah, he was born in Ireland. He's in my house at the moment now. He came over last Christmas for 2 weeks. He ended up staying for 4 months, and so he's come over now and he's staying for 6 months.
Well, he must be a pretty good guy if he's
a great guy.
Born March 1st.
He's a great guy. March 1st, yeah.
Yeah, because we're both Pisces.
Yeah, he's. I think you'd get on with him. He's like you though. He's got a lot of youth in him. He's just kept himself fit. Doesn't drink too much. He's never really been a party guy. Does a lot of walking.
Well, that's kind of the opposite of me. I was a party guy.
You were.
I did drink a lot.
You were.
Yeah. I find. I'm in pretty good shape. My knees are okay. I don't have anything wrong with me. I'm a little overweight now, but I'm not like extremely overweight. But I have a harder time with people who act like I'm old than I do accepting I'm old. I know I'll say, oh, I'm 70 and 70, but like at night when I dream, someone told me this about fat people. Let me go to that first. That if you're not born fat, but if as a young child, if you're way overweight, then the rest of your life, you're pretty much overweight in your dreams. I don't know if that's true or not. But I know that when I was overweight, I was still thin in my dreams. And now in my dreams, I'm still like in my teens and 20s. I'm not almost 70 in my dreams. I'm like a young, thin guy in my dreams.
There's probably some meaning to this.
I know there's something there.
Do you know there's someone you can talk to about this?
No, I don't.
Preston Pish.
Oh, really?
Yeah, message him about your dreams.
Is he into that?
I had a dream about Preston Pish the other day, right? Well, me and Preston Pish. I was at this event, this huge event. There were like tens of thousands of people there. Big, wild crowd.
I can't believe you're telling this.
I'm not telling all of it. I'm definitely not telling all of it.
You told Danny. Yeah.
So anyway, Preston gets called up on stage. He's won an award, like the most important person in the world award or something, like the most influential person in the world. So he goes up on stage, and as he's collecting the award, he goes, "Oh, I need someone up here with me. I need Peter McCormack. You need to come accept this award with me." And I'm like, "Wow, this is amazing." So anyway, I then try to get to the stage, and I can't get to the stage. And so I have to end up like going off. Shut up, Daddy. An accident. So I end up going to like this back room, and then I'm like saw myself out, and I come out, and everyone's gone. Everyone's disappeared. So anyway, I messaged Preston today. I was like, "Hey man, I've had this really weird dream that you're in it." And I told him. He calls me up straight away. He FaceTimes me. He's like, "Peter, there's a meaning to this dream." He was like, tell me why you couldn't get to the stage. I was like, I can't tell you why I didn't get to the stage. But then he was like, there's something blocking you in your life. There's something stopping you trying to get to somewhere. So if you want some meaning to your dreams.
Oh, maybe because I have a lot of the same things happen in my dreams a lot.
Yeah,
Number
me
one,
too.
I'm naked a lot in my dreams in public. Just walking around with no clothes on and
Google
thinking
what that
nothing of
means.
it. And thinking nothing of it. And two, I always have cars that are like, crappy cars and the brakes don't work. You know, like have you ever had a car the brakes were almost out of and you're really pushing it down and I always have to bump into something to stop. Those are two consistent things. Is I'm naked a lot, not all the time, and I have an old crappy car that won't stop unless I run into something.
Well, Preston was saying to me, your dreams have meaning, and this is like you have to sleep to get yourself to reset. And then what happens is your dreams are like your subconscious telling you what you need to do and downloading it to you to fix what you need to do. And so if you're having the same dream over and over again, what does naked
I'm
and
pretty
dreaming?
sure it ended with him saying you had to get rid of me.
Yeah, so my one, basically Danny's getting in the way of me, but somehow. Did you Google what naked in dreams means?
Yeah, it means you're feeling vulnerable.
Oh, I don't know what that. I don't even know what that means.
It means you're feeling vulnerable.
I don't know how I could be.
What about
How about old cars that won't brakes don't work?
Yeah. All my dreams are anxiety dreams. I keep having these dreams where I'm like, I can't get to something. There was another one where I was playing in the US Masters, the golf, and I'm winning it. And I get to the 17th tee, and there's a big crowd, and I'm trying to put my ball on the tee, but the tee's like jelly, and every time I put it on, it falls off. Just keeps falling off over and over again, and people are like, hurry up, and I just couldn't get it, and then everyone left. It's just
You have a problem with people deserting you.
Yeah, that's what it is.
oh my God, maybe it's to do with my divorce.
You know, when I was young, I used to get chased a lot in my dreams, like when I was a teen and early 20s, and I'd fall down all the time. I couldn't outrun the people who were chasing me. I'd fall down, but I learned to adapt, and I would hide in my dreams in the bushes or something because I knew I couldn't outrun them. So I would hide. I'd say, there's some big bushes, and I'd jump in there and they'd run by. I remember that. But because I couldn't outrun them because it's like my feet, like Fred Flintstone, I was just falling down.
What do you dream about, Danny?
The only anxiety dream I have is sometimes you get in a fight and you can't punch. You ever have that one?
No.
I've had lucid dreams before as well, but not for years. But I used to have them fairly regularly, where you can then just start controlling yourself in the dream. Like you're dreaming, but you can just
I've done that before too.
Now I can fly and just
I can
go
fly in my dreams. I couldn't at one time. Then someone told me that they could fly in their dreams, and I was like, I can't fly in my dreams. And then one day I could fly in my dreams.
Yeah.
I want to fly in my dreams.
You can do it. You just now that you know, you can do it. You just have to know it's possible, and you can do it.
You can get these glasses that have a very faint red light, and you're meant to sleep wearing them. And then in your dreams, you'll see a red light, and it kind of pulls you a little bit out of the dream, and you realize you're dreaming, and then you can just control yourself in your dream.
Is it like the thing in Inception?
The spinny thing, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't even know if those glasses work, but I've just seen them.
I was under that bridge last year, and I didn't even know it. And I was going, that was familiar to me. Remember that bridge in Inception when they kept folding the...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And that's in Paris. And that was really cool. Once I realized that it was the bridge, I was like, this is really cool.
What do you think of Paris?
I love Paris.
Oh, you've been a few times?
Yeah. I love Paris.
Yeah,
I really do.
You're right with the French.
Huh?
You're right with the French. We don't really like
I don't know much about the French. They all speak English when I'm talking to them. So,
Yeah.
Well, we did go to this one restaurant that someone recommended that wasn't a touristy restaurant. And they all spoke French there. No one spoke English. And I don't think they liked us very much being in their place. There was I felt like Kathy really pointed it out. She's going, I don't think this waiter likes us at all.
They're always miserable like that.
Yeah.
They don't want to have to... Oh, God, I'm going to sound really xenophobic. I'm only joking. I love the French.
I enjoyed France. I mean, it's a great city for walking. It was pretty. I mean, the nightlife was good. I liked that. I didn't have any issues.
Did you go to London as well?
Yeah, I did. I went to London for a week, maybe 2 years before, or went to England for a week and went all over. But I stayed in London, down across from. There was some park in front of us, and on the other side of that was like the Queen's house or something.
Oh, but not Hyde Park?
Yeah, Hyde Park. Yeah,
Or Regent's Park?
I think it was Hyde Park.
Hyde Park makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
was.
That's like Mayfair area.
Nice part of London.
It was, well, it was supposed to be like a 5-star hotel, but it was like the shittiest 5-star hotel I'd ever stayed in.
Do you know what? You can get rugged like that in London.
Yeah.
Hotels are so expensive now.
It was small, so small, the rooms.
It might be like an old-fashioned,
It was an old hotel.
traditional one.
It was an old hotel. But I enjoyed it. I just didn't enjoy it as much as I did Paris. I mean, I could move to Paris. But where I really liked is this year I went to Portugal.
Yeah,
I
Portugal's
like
great.
Portugal. That, especially the old town, not the new town, because that could be any city.
Well, were you in Porto?
Well, we went to Porto.
Okay, but you were in Lisbon as well.
In Lisbon, yeah, in Lisbon. I love Lisbon, the old part of Lisbon.
So I haven't been to Lisbon. I've been to Porto.
Yeah.
And I love Porto.
Porto was so cool. I met someone here in Fort Worth at a thing that the Texas Blockchain Conference sponsored. I was walking down the hall, and it was a mining thing, and this young girl, maybe 22, comes running up going, Mr. Leland, Mr. Leland. And I said, yeah, how can I help you? He goes, you're Gary Leland, right? And I said, yeah. He goes, my mother loves you. And I was like, oh, good. I'm happy. And she lives in Porto, and I just wanted to make sure you were her. So you were who you are, so I could tell her I saw you. And I said, okay, well, we're going to Portugal within a year. She goes, oh, let me tell my mom. She'll want to see you. So anyway, long story short, we're in Lisbon, and the next day we're going to Porto, and she's in my LinkedIn, so I told her I was coming, so I sent her a message, say, hey, we'll be there tomorrow. And she goes, I'll be at the train station. I was like, okay, I wasn't expecting that. I thought we'd just meet her for lunch or something. And she was at the train station when we arrived, took us and spent the entire day with us. I've never met this lady, but she's a Bitcoiner. Spent the entire day with us, showing us Porto, things we would have never found on our own.
Brilliant.
And got us back to the train station with like 2 minutes to spare. And so we had the greatest time in Porto.
Did you have the port in Porto?
We did. She took us to a place that had like a winery where you have like 7 ones, had 7 kind of ports.
Yeah.
Kathy wasn't big on the port, but I was pretty big on it by the time I left.
Yeah. Yeah, I got wasted in Porto on the port. It tastes different there. It's good. They keep the good stuff.
I love it everywhere.
Do you? I'm not normally a fan. It's too.
It's pretty sweet.
like it.
Yeah, it's pretty syrupy to me.
Have you had the white port?
No.
I like that.
Is that like dessert wine?
Yeah, probably.
The first time I had port, I went to a party, and the guy had a really nice wine room. I don't have a wine room. We have a wine shelf,
Yeah.
And he pulled out a 1950 port. And so I'm going, this is older than me. So this ought to be some good stuff. And it was some good stuff.
Oh.
I think that was my first experience with it. And I didn't realize it was much more potent than wine.
Yeah.
By the time I left there, I was
Wobbly.
real wobbly.
Wobbly.
Yeah.
We should probably talk about Bitcoin. We barely talked about Bitcoin. Okay, listen, you've been doing the event for 7 years.
Well, let's talk about Bitcoin.
Yeah. But no, I was going to say, I'm going to throw in a question related to that. So in that 7 years, do you think running an event gives you a different perspective on Bitcoin?
I don't know the answer to that. I don't think so.
No.
I don't think so. I'm involved with well, maybe it does because I'm involved with a lot more people than the average person is. For instance, if it wasn't for my event, would I be here right now talking to you? Or would I know how to call Preston tomorrow and say, hey, what is my dream? Would I know these things or know these people that I've had conversations with, that maybe now they don't seem like they were that big of a deal, but really they were. I'm just like taking it for granted, which I think people do, naturally when they're in a situation or have something going on. It's like, Michael Saylor probably takes it for granted that he has 5 yachts, where I would go, oh my gosh, I got 5 yachts, So probably it's put me in touch with people and in contact with people, just like I was saying, doing the podcast with it, I would call it people to do interviews with so I could find out the answers to things. But this puts me in much more touch, and I go to events now and meet other people that I get to talk to and find out what they think about something and find out opportunities. I probably had a lot of doors open for me and a lot of opportunities to do different things or get involved with startups or things like that I wouldn't have had otherwise. So yeah. I guess it does.
With the event, do you do the programming around what you think people want to hear, or do you do it based around what you want to hear?
It's based around what I want to hear.
Yeah.
I kind of have always thought, I think everybody has a superpower.
Okay.
I mean, most people just either don't know what their superpower is, or they don't do anything that their superpower would be effective in. And my superpower, I've always said this my whole life, is looking at stuff like an average Joe.
Yeah.
You know, no matter how much I'm involved with it, when I look at it, I'm like, oh. And so I've always gone with with this conference that if I like it, majority of people are going to like it.
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty average Joe when you get down to it. Maybe I've had opportunities open for me, but when you get down to it, I'm pretty average Joe. And so if I like it, 70% of the people probably would like it. Maybe there's 30% that don't, but most of the people will. And so that's what I do, is I try to get people there that I want. You know, I limit the amount of times you can speak to 3 in a row.
Okay.
Because if not, you're going to have the same people over and over. People, I'm not going to that event. Same 10 people are there. I've already seen. So I try to switch it up. So I force a switch. And then if you have that as a rule, no one can kind of take it personal that they're not invited back.
Yeah.
You can go, the 3 rules up. You got to skip a year before you can come back. Oh, yeah, I understand the 3 rule. You know,
that's something we're going to learn. Stand on the shoulder of giants. Yeah, no, like I understand that. I mean, that's what I always did with the pod, Gary. I always spoke to the people I wanted to speak to about the things I wanted to speak about, and hopefully other people like it.
Yeah, I found that most people. I got another superpower.
Yeah, you got 2.
I got 2. I'm very fortunate. I can take a piece of wood. Now, if you had a 2x4 and a saw, I can take that and cut it in half within an 1/8 of an inch without measuring it.
What?
Yeah, and I'd be willing to put money on that.
Why didn't you bring a saw, Danny?
But I can and I'm one of those guys that do things 85% of the way anyway. So when I build something, I can just cut the wood, and it's going to be close enough to work.
Hold on. So if I say cut it at 3 inches, you can get it. With,
but you told me to cut it in half. I could.
Oh, in half.
Yeah.
And do you just go by sight? And
Yes.
Just
Yes. I just look at it and cut.
How did you figure that superpower out?
Well, I don't know. I just never cut. My wife would always go, "You need to measure that thing." I said, "No, I just got to cut this in half." You know, and I cut it in half. And one day I think we measured it. She goes, "Damn, that isn't half."
What's your superpower?
But if I was a carpenter now, I would probably be a hell of a carpenter because my superpower would come in handy. But since I don't cut wood ever,
I think if you were a carpenter, you would have a tape measure though, just in case.
probably wouldn't need it though. Because if I'm good enough to do it now, think how good it'd be if I cut wood every day.
What if you
But only
need?
if you cut it in half.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
No matter what size, you just have to keep cutting in half till you go to the size you
I
want.
couldn't really cut 3 inches off the end and be within an 1/8 of an inch, but I can cut it in half.
Yeah. So when you're like planning the house, like it probably have to be a perfect square. Everything would have to be square.
So I cut it in half.
Yeah. Everything in every room would either would be halfway through it or a quarter.
Well,
of
I'd
it.
hire someone else to do the angles.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's the quarter guy. Danny, what's your superpower?
I don't know. I don't know if I figured it out.
You got one. Everybody's got one.
Danny's superpower. It's Danny's superpower. Danny never, ever loses his temper.
Yeah, I don't.
Never loses control, ever.
Not
Yeah,
even
I
when
don't
the gang, you don't like lose it with the herd. A lot of people don't do something, but then when the herd is doing it, that they'll do it with the herd. You know, because the herd is awful powerful. You know, like people on the street getting in a riot. The herd, they would never go up and hit somebody, but the herd is doing
like
it. So,
the kind of mob mentality thing.
yeah.
I don't
That's
know.
what I call the herd. Yeah, mob
Yeah.
mentality.
I don't know. I don't get angry, but I don't know if that's a superpower.
Danny's the calmest person I think I've ever met.
My wife says I constantly operate at 7.
Yeah. You're like Kieran Trippier. You're the Kieran Trippier of producers.
Whereas she's either like a 2 or a 10, so we balance each other out pretty well.
Kieran Trippier is never an 8, but he's never a 6.
Yeah.
He's always a 7. He's a footballer.
Okay.
Yeah, he's Mr. Consistent.
Oh, I looked something up for you the other day.
Okay, what's this?
Well, you were when I saw you at Pacific,
Yeah.
and we had a discussion. I said soccer, and you said, and I think you joked when you said football.
It wasn't a joke.
So I looked it up. Why in the hell is it called soccer?
Is the English actually came up with it first?
It stands for
Really?
Associated
Yeah.
Football.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And then English evidently would add a to everything. They'll have, I don't know, like beerer or I don't know, pubber or something, but they add to a lot. So Associated Football, they got rid of the football and it was associated and then they made it sock for associated because they add to stuff.
I did not know that.
So I'm not insulting the English when I say soccer. And since there was football in the U.S. already when your football came here and started getting popular, the other football was already popular, so they went to the other word.
Yeah. So I looked it up once. Why do Americans keep saying soccer? And it came up that the English invented it.
How disappointing.
Yeah, it was a real disappointment. I basically never admitted that because I didn't want to, I didn't want to.
So then I didn't feel
want to own
bad
it.
about saying the word soccer because it's an English term.
Yeah, but it's
You're just being a little too hoity-toity about
You
it.
found it.
Yeah, that's so disappointing.
Yeah.
There was rugby. There was two footballs. There was rugby and the associated football.
Well, they still
and
call it-
rugby separated and went their own way because they couldn't agree.
They still call it rugby football sometimes, don't they?
Yes, I think they do.
In most, it'll
And
be
they
like
use
rugby
a
football
football.
club. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they use a football.
They use a rugby ball.
Well, it looks like a football to me.
It's more like,
looks like an
American
American
football.
football.
It's
Yeah,
like,
that's what he
oh
means.
yeah.
Y'all use a soccer
It's
ball.
even more confusing in Australia. They call rugby league, rugby, and AFL all footy.
So if you say, do you want to come down the pub and watch the footy?
I never have any idea what anyone's talking about.
Is it one of those ones that they will know which one?
Yeah.
Oh, footy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They know, but it's in different cities. It's like it means a different sport.
That reminds me of the South Park episode where they go to the planet Marklar.
I've not seen
And
it.
everyone and everything's called Marklar. And they say, I'll show you later. It's funny. Well, I appreciate you checking out a little
Well,
bit.
I didn't want to insult you if that was because I'm going, this is kind of screwy to me. Why are we calling it soccer if it's really football? And then I found out you guys made up the name. I'm going, up yours, McCormick.
You've ratted me out here, man, because I knew this and I'd never released this information because I knew it'd be a self-own.
Now the word's out. And everybody's going to go, I could have been calling it soccer all this time.
Yeah, tell Pete to fuck off. We need to get you over to Bedford for a game.
Yeah, I'd like to go.
Yeah.
I'd like to go against, and I can wear my shirt you gave me.
Yes, you can wear your shirt. Yeah, you can wear the shirt. We're doing okay this evening. We played this evening. I think you finished 5-4.
Well, you've really turned that team around.
Yeah, well, it's Bitcoin. Bitcoin did it.
The cheat code.
The cheat code. Yeah, it's the cheat code. It
I
did
remember
it.
you telling me that. So.
Yeah, it has been a cheat code for that team, and it's the top of the league, and the ladies are top of their league.
That kind of goes with the cheat code, kind of goes with Bitcoin fixes everything.
It kind of
Bitcoin
is.
fixed that soccer team.
Yeah, it's yeah, but in some ways the team didn't need fixing because it was fine where it was. It was at its level because every football team's a business, and the money, however good the business is, gives it the money to sign the better players.
Right.
And so the team was at the level it should have been. So it wasn't so much it need fixed. It was more like here's an opportunity, and that's why I think cheat code people can say Bitcoin fixes it, but I think it's a different thing. It means Bitcoin's like a tool or weapon. Like you can use it for your advantage, even with things that don't need fixing.
Okay, to improve. How far are you from London?
We are so no traffic. You can drive. I drove to Heathrow in an hour and 15 minutes the other day, and then if you get the train in King's Cross, it's 40 minutes.
Oh, I would do that to come watch a soccer game.
We get a lot of people. We get a lot of people who've now made the pilgrimage. I reckon at least, gosh, a few hundred now at different points or another have made the pilgrimage. We're like the El Zonte of football.
Yeah, Zonte.
Yeah,
I haven't been there yet.
Oh, you should go.
My wife won't go. She's scared of terrorists down there. And stuff.
Right, there's no terrorists there.
I know. Everybody tells her that.
It's probably safer than where we are right now in Fort Worth.
We were with
Max and Stacy?
Max and Stacy, yes, thanks, in Miami. And with us was the president's niece.
Okay.
You know, she has an official business card and everything, president's niece. And doesn't say that. But anyway, telling Max and Stacy, Kathy won't go down there because of the terrorists. Blah, blah, there's nothing to that. That's crazy. And she goes, here's my card. If you come, you call me. I will have the army meet you out there at the airplane. You will not be hurt. And so still she won't go.
Let me talk to Kathy. I've traveled to a lot of places, and I've been to some pretty dangerous places, and it's one of the safest places I've been. And she would have a great time down in El Zonte. Well, just don't tell her.
She's our travel agent.
Yeah, you gotta take that over on this one. Just book the flights.
Well, actually, I told Max, I said, every time I saw him, I'd say, hey, would you come to BitBlockBoom? And so I was at an event, and I saw him. He goes, I know. You're going to ask me if I'll come to BitBlockBoom. I said, hey, I'm sorry. I'm a hustler. I'm used to working.
Yeah.
You know, I wasn't born with a silver spoon in my mouth. I've had to work for everything I ever had. And he goes, well, here's the deal. If I come to BitBlockBoom, you'll have to come to my event. I said, done. So he came this year. So
Yep.
I got to go to an event when I see he's having an event. I haven't seen him have an event yet, though. So
If I see him announce one, I'm going to drop a message. Just remember, Gary Leland's got to go.
you tell him it's your event.
Kathy will be committed then.
Yeah, she would be committed.
I think you'll love it. It's really nice going. Like San Salvador's, it's another city, but El Zonte is truly a Bitcoin community.
I know so many people. I mean, I know people who are down there now, as we speak, So I know so many people who've been there a dozen times. So I feel pretty confident it's safe, but
You will be fine. I mean, I haven't been in a while. I don't even know when or if I'll go again because I feel like I've done my time there now. I've been out there, and I want to find what's the next El Zonte and go there. But you would love it. You would love it. Maybe just put a BitBlockBoom satellite event there. Kathy, I have to go.
oh yeah, satellite event.
Yeah.
I remember there was one of those poles that have like the arrows, I'm talking
Yeah.
about so many miles or so many miles. So I felt pretty honored one day when I saw that and they had BBB on there.
Love it.
Yeah, so that's cool. So
Love that.
yeah.
So I actually don't know what are the things in Bitcoin that you really care about. I know you put on the event and I know you do the Boomer podcast, but like for me, I know the things I care about. I'm interested in politics. I know what Danny is. I don't really know the areas of Bitcoin that really drive your interest.
I really get interested in like the history of money.
Okay.
And what is money and all that stuff. I mean, I really find all that, but now I think I've absorbed so much of it, that, there's only so much history. At some point in time, you pretty much, maybe there's some micron little thing you don't know, but that was what really, to begin with, I was in that all the time. That's all I watched was the history of money kind of stuff. I've actually feel like I've learned so much about money. I've always liked learning new things anyway. Like when I was a kid, I was like a museum brat. My mom would drop me off at the museum Saturday morning and pick me up Saturday night when I was like 11 and 12. So I like learning stuff anyway, but that's what's really been my deal is learning about the history of money. It took me into money, learning about Bitcoin took me into learning about money. And now I just watch so many things about money itself. Our finance itself. So I really get into learning about that. But I kind of am from the background that Bitcoin, one of the things that differentiates Bitcoiners from crypto shitcoiners is that shitcoiners are just more worried like they are buying and selling stocks. They just want to make some money. And they
want to make a trade.
Yeah, I can make some money today. Okay, this is going to go up to here, and then I'm going to see the ascending triangle or whatever. And, I don't know all that terminology because I don't buy and sell. But then I'm going to sell when it gets to this. I'm going to sell half my stack, and then I'm going to wait for that and sell the rest. And I'm going into Solano or whatever, where I think Bitcoiners really feel like they have an opportunity to change the world.
Yes.
And they aren't just worried about, they want to make money. Don't get me wrong. That's one of those things that most of the world wants to make, whether they admit it or not. But they want to change the world, help change the world for everybody else too. And a lot of people, buy Bitcoin because they want to hold their stack and help their kids and grandkids try to create that generational wealth. And I'm not as much of a generational wealth person. That'll probably happen on its own. But I'm not, as you said earlier, what are you doing? Is the money for you or not? It's for me. But I think that no matter what I do, because of where I'm at in life anyway, that my kids are going to get plenty. I don't have to say, I'm going to live like a pauper to make sure that my kids are taken care of. And they're doing great anyway. They way ahead where I was at their age.
Exactly. It's what me and Danny have argued about this because I don't think I would leave my kids everything that I make.
We've told our kids since they were little, we weren't leaving them anything. Since they were little, we said, we aren't leaving you anything. We're going to piss it all away. We told them that for they're 37 and 38. We've been telling them that at least since they were 16. We're going to piss it all away. So don't count on us.
All right, I'm going to go more brutal then.
And I don't think we can. We can, of course, but I don't think we will. Because we're not pissing away kind of people, but we aren't going to go, oh my gosh, we want to go on a cruise around the world, but we can't spend that money because we got to leave it for the kids. My brother's like that. I can't do that. I can't do that. I said, what are you doing with all that money you got? Leaving it for the kids. When your kids are making more than you made.
Yeah, I've always thought I'm not leaving them all, and if I do, it'd be like small incremental amounts. Like they've got to do their own thing. Danny is very upset with me about this. Thinks I should leave it all to them as soon as possible.
Yeah, we told our kids that actually when they went to college, we said, you got 4 years. You don't get out in 4 years, you're on your own. The other rule was, you're not moving back home ever. Not for one day.
I wish I'd have done that one.
Yeah. So we've had pretty tight rules. And when they graduated from college, I think with Lauren, she went to OU at the college. We said, give us the credit cards. And we cut them up, threw them in the trash. We're done.
Do they get Bitcoin?
Yeah, they both have Bitcoin.
Okay.
Yeah. They don't get it as much as they just take my word for it. But I didn't give them any. They had to buy their own. I mean, we don't give our kids much anything. We make our kids work. We've always made them work since they were little kids. They had to come up to the store and they had to work. They got paid like any other employee did. But we've always been big on making our kids work, and I think it's paid them well. I always said kids are allergic to work. Most kids I meet are definitely allergic to work. They spend more time trying to get out of work than they do just getting the work done. Mm-hmm. And when I was employing kids, I used to employ a lot of kids. I'd be going, they do a shitty job. And I go, we got to do this over because this is such a shitty job you did. They go, really? I got to do it again? I'm the one who ought to be pissed. I'm paying you to do the same thing twice. I'm the one who ought to be pissed. I don't know what you're pissed about. You're still making money.
Yeah.
If I had you do it 10 times, you'd make money all 10 times. But my kids are not allergic to work, and they've all been super successful from the day they got out of college. They both had jobs before they got out of college. I mean, they've been very successful kids. So, but I think because we made them work their ass off.
Yeah, I'm trying. I've tried.
I'm not knocking anyone who does it.
No,
and I'm not saying I got the only right way.
No, I think it is the right way, Gary. I think it is. I think that's the way you learn. Like I had to, and Danny very similar had to. My parents didn't have the money just to go, here it is. If I wanted stuff, I had to go and work.
My parents did. I got a pair of shoes every year, and that was it. And sometimes I had to wear those shoes the next year, So if I wanted stuff, I got a job and I had to buy it on my own. I had to buy my school clothes unless I wanted to wear the same outfit 2-3 times a week. And I was kind of like wanting to be kind of fitting in. I didn't want to be the guy over there with the same dirty clothes every day.
So did you work from pretty young?
Yeah. I started working at I started working real young. I would cut people's lawns in the neighborhood. Every day I cut someone's lawns and stuff like that. But then I started the next thing, before I could work anywhere, I would go out to the golf course, and on like the 16th hole was far enough away from the clubhouse. So I would Friday night, I would buy cans of Coke and freeze them because I was thinking about that. Like, why the hell did I freeze those? Could we not afford a cooler? I mean, how much would a styrofoam cooler cost? But we put them in the freezer, and I'd probably lose 1% of my product overnight because it would pop, because it would freeze. And I'd go out to the golf course, and I'd sell these to golfers, the Cokes, because they were hot and so far away. So I did that for, as a kid, and I made pretty good money as a kid. I'd buy them for like 6 cents, I think, a can, and I'd sell them for $0.25 or something.
That's inflation for you.
Yeah, that's inflation.
I thought you were going to tell me a different story then. I thought you were going to tell me, there was a lake on that hole, and I was fishing the balls out.
Oh, I did. When there was no
well?
golfers, I'd see where their balls went, and I'd go fish them out, and I'd sell them.
Sell them back to them.
Yeah, I'd sell the golf balls. Then at 14, I started working for a vet. I was underage, so he just gave me $1 an hour. But that was kind of weird now in retrospect. Like when people would bring in their dogs to put them to sleep, they go, we'll take care of them. Do you want us to handle the arrangements too? They go, yeah, that'd be great. And he goes, okay, we charge so much money for that. And then when the people would leave, they go, okay, Gary, take care of it. So I'd give them a shot and put them to sleep and put them in a trash bag and throw them in the trash. That's what we did. And so now when my dogs pass, they go, do you want me to take care of them? I go, no.
No, I got this.
I had to take my dog home and bury him. But that's what we did. We just threw them in the trash can. And then they would throw all the, when they gave them tetanus shot, or not tetanus, but like rabies shots or distemper, they didn't put the caps back on the needles back then. They'd throw them in the trash can. At night, I'd come pick up the trash bags. I'd be walking out there getting all poked in the legs with all these needles. I mean, I'm surprised I didn't get rabies or something.
Oh, man.
Things have changed since I was a kid.
Of course. Do you know what? It just sounds like you've hustled, man.
Yeah, I just tried to make a living. Yeah.
I think you've done more than make a living. And look, you've built a great event. Everyone loves it. Everyone respects it. People tell me how good it is, and I never get to make it to it.
Well, you'll make it. You'll get there sooner
next year.
Just like I'll get to your game sooner or later. Your football game.
Yeah, our soccer game. Yeah, I'd love to have you over for that. I think you'd really enjoy it. But
I'm sure I would.
But yeah, I mean, I just think amazing what you've done. I'm sorry we've taken 6 years to do this.
Hey, I just appreciate you doing it. The only thing with BitBlockBoom is, like I said, it's I always try to make it the kind of conference I wanted to go to.
Yeah.
That's all it is. And like I said earlier, I think I'm pretty average Joe. If I want to go to it, hopefully other people want to go to it. So that's all it is.
I think you're a bit more than average Joe, but
Yeah.
I get what you're saying. It's a bit hilarious.
I would invite people to come to the conference.
Yeah. Well, which one?
Both of them. Yeah.
I'm wondering if there's something we can do to like signal each other on that weekend when yours is on, ours is on.
Oh, yeah. We already said we can do it. We both got them going.
Should we dial each other in or something?
Yeah, we could do like a
FaceTime each other.
Yeah, do a stream, connect it, and put it on the. Yeah.
Yeah, because I think our day will be ending as about yours started.
Not like a whole stream, but like what time is
6 hour difference.
So what time would yours get over US time?
So we about 5, so about 11.
11 hours starts at 9.
We'll find a way of connecting
yeah.
in. I'll just FaceTime you otherwise and say, good luck. How's it going?
Sounds good. Sounds like a plan. We'll figure out something to do something that's clever.
We will do something clever. Tell people how to get tickets.
Oh, just go to BitBlockBoom.com. That's it. And then the tickets are on there. And if you use the code BBB1, you'll get an extra discount.
There you go.
And that's all you need to do. And the thing about our conference that's different from most people's is most people have like a general admission and a VIP ticket.
Yeah.
I'm not into VIP tickets, so I don't have a VIP ticket. I'm not into that. I don't like that whole termage. I think we're all Bitcoiners. So.
Yeah.
But I have a general admission and a pro pass. And then I sell to every event individually. So you can say you want to just go to the event you went to, Thursday night party, buy just a ticket for that. Or you go, I want to go to Saturday conference day and the Sunday brunch. You can buy a ticket to those two. Or you could buy whatever combination you want, or you can get a pro pass and go to everything. So I have a lot of people who just go to the Friday event. They'll go to the Friday night party because it's a big party, and then they'll hang out in the hotel on Saturday because they don't want to spend that kind of money. They'd rather stack sats.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a shopping cart a la carte.
We've done the VIP thing. We have. We used to call it the massive legend ticket. I don't know why we keep it at that. But anyway,
change it.
We're doing ours different. Ours is our second day is we're just taking everyone to a football match. Everyone's going to come watch the team.
Oh, that's a good day.
Yeah. So because there's a lot of events. So
Yeah.
what can we do that's different? So we're just gonna.
I think that's a good thing to do, especially since you own a soccer team.
Yeah.
I mean, that makes it pretty easy.
And it'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And hopefully we win the league that day. That would be perfect.
Oh, is that when the league championship could be?
It could be. It's a bit like the halving. You never really know. We've got a chance of winning it. We won it the week. I think we won it the week before it.
It was the week before.
And we
got the trophy on the day.
Yeah, we got the trophy on the day. So that was cool.
Now, if you win that, do you move up another league?
Yeah. So we started in the 10th. We're now in the 9th. If we win that, we'll go up to the 8th. It gets progressively harder.
Yeah, I would think so.
But the goal is what it is to get to that top.
Yeah.
Even though everyone laughs at me.
Well, I don't know, what the difference quality-wise is between 10 and 8. But I would assume it's a pretty good difference in the game.
Yeah, but a lot of the players have changed. We've bought new players into. But
is that because you had more money because you moved up a league?
Yeah, no, but you don't get more money. It's a weird one. You don't get more money from moving up a league from the league. You just get the brand is growing. Like your first conference, you had like 75, and what did you have at the second one?
125.
Yeah, so like when I first took over, we were getting 50 at a game. And then the next year, we got 180. And then this year, it's about 230. And if you think that's 50 people a game, so we got, say, 22 home games. So what's that? Just an extra 1,000 people through the door. And each one of those people, say, spends £20. So that's an extra £20,000 that comes in.
Oh, yeah.
With more people online buying merch, maybe get some more sponsors. So the business model itself grows. Like it's honestly, it's probably similar to a conference. Like, you probably have an easier time getting sponsors now than you did in the first year. So we have more money, but the players are more expensive. And so that's the business model.
Is there not TV rights on that yet?
Not at this level. So you first TV... So you can do if you get in the FA Cup. So the FA Cup we're in, but if you get into a good round and you play a big team, because there's every team in the country's in this competition, you might get on TV. But the real TV money starts in the first 4 leagues, because that's the professional league.
So next year you won't even be happy. You would just be Not even halfway there yet.
Yeah, not even halfway because we'll be 2 promotions. But yeah, but we're just growing the business. My focus always is, what are the revenue channels? How do we make more? And how do we get more people come to watch the team? And those 2 will give us the money to keep growing this. But the cheat code for this is that traditionally our only customers would be who lives in the town, who's going to come to a game. Now it's who in the world who's a Bitcoiner who might come to a game or buy a jersey or or a
because you
sponsor.
sold out at Pacific of your jerseys.
Yeah, we sold them all. Everything I bought, we pretty much sold. And so, that side's going well, but I've got to just keep pushing it and pushing it and pushing it. And hopefully Bitcoin continues to grow. So there's more Bitcoiners and there's more of them fans of the team. And yeah, that's the cheat code.
Well, let me ask you, like the number 1 league.
Yeah.
Okay, let's say you make it up to number 2.
Yeah.
And now you're wanting to get to number 1.
Yeah.
And you win number 2. Do they kick someone out of number 1?
Yeah. So we have promotion and relegation. So every year, the Premier League, the top league, the bottom 3 drop down. And then in the one below, the championship, 2 go up and then 4 play off for the last spot.
Oh, wow.
And then from the second one down to the third, I think it's 4 that swap. And the third to the fourth, 4 swap. But 4th to the 5th, 2 swap. But yeah, I mean, it's promotion and it's what you don't have here in US sports, and I think it's one of the best things about it, because you essentially have 2 very important competitions to win it and not to get relegated. So on the last day of the season, you might be following the top to see who's going to win it, but also the bottom to see who's going to survive.
It's pretty important.
Yeah, some of the survivals are crazy. This is my most favorite one ever. So the 4th league, which is the bottom of the professional leagues, and the 5th one, which is the top of the amateur leagues, it used to be only 1 team would swap every year. So it's really hard to get from the amateur to the professional leagues. And there was a team called Carlisle. I think it was Carlisle. They were playing to stay, to not get relegated out of the professional leagues. Goalie got injured, then their reserve goalie got injured. So they got permission to sign in a new goalie, this guy called Jimmy Glass. And they're either losing or drawing, I can't remember, but they need to score a goal. And it's right at the end of the game, and there's a corner. And everyone goes up, even the goalkeeper. And the ball goes into the air, and the goalkeeper scores the goal. So this goalkeeper wasn't even meant to be playing. And it's very rare for goalkeepers to score. Like, never happens. Yet he scored the goal that kept them in the league. So it was beautiful.
My thing with soccer is I think it needs to change.
Okay, what would you change about soccer?
I would make the nets like a yard or 2 wider.
This is such an American response. You want more goals.
I do. It's like in baseball. It'd be like in baseball going, hey, you hit it out of the park, doesn't count. I mean, we want to see the big hits. We want to see the home runs. And that would be just enough of a change that it's not going to make the scores go crazy, but you would get more scores. And you'd never go, okay, we've been playing for however many minutes it is, and it's 0-0. Let's have a kickoff. I mean, that's like shooting free throws in basketball at the end of the game.
You know what? If you come over to the UK, I will take you to a game West Ham, Tottenham.
Yeah, that would be a good one.
Palace against Brighton.
Yeah.
There's Celtic Rangers. I could take you to one of these games and there could be no goals and you will have the best time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because it's the tension of the game. It's not the scores themselves. They are important, but it's the tension of the game. So the less scores means it's more tense. It's hard to score. So every goal is so important.
And sometimes there'll be like a real masterclass in defending where one team is only just trying to keep the other team out, and it's really good to watch.
See, I think you guys just say that because you got a bad sport.
Right. I now need to get you to a guy. I've actually football pilled a bunch of people, getting them down to watch our team, and and I think they get it once they go.
And I don't understand offsides. Because if that guy's too fast, he's got to stop and wait. But that makes no sense to me.
No.
That's the way it seems to me. He's got it, and he's hauling button, there's no one in front of him, so let me stop and let everybody get up there.
Well, it's a bit like in your football. When he throws it, they have to wait. They can't just run off straight away. They have to wait for him to...
Well, they could if he intercepted it.
No, but they can't run across the line until they've... What do they call it when they throw the ball?
Hike the ball.
They hike the ball, right?
Yeah.
Getting rid of offside is like saying, you can run before he hikes the ball.
Well, I don't see it as that because they're still in motion. They never set.
Yeah.
They never set. Like in football, they set and they can't move until they hike the ball.
I don't know if this image helps. So the point is, this red player would be offside because he's beyond the defenders. So the attacking player can't be beyond the last defender when the ball is passed to them. So he could be waiting right next to this defender, and as soon as the ball's passed, he can run through and he can be completely on his own, but not until the ball has been passed by this player.
I don't know why they didn't always have the offside rule.
Did they not?
No, it was like they didn't always have bookings.
I've never had anyone explain the offside rule to me.
I'm not sure I explained that
people
well.
had to stop and kind of wait.
It means you have to just be a bit more clever about trying to score goals.
See, and I'm wanting to see more goals, so that's why I don't like the offside rule.
Yeah.
I like because it'd be like dunking the basketball on him to go up there and there's no one to defend it.
I need to get you to a game. I think once you see it and experience the tension of a proper game.
Have you met him?
I did. I met him in Bitcoin San Francisco,
where I met him.
2019.
Was he like bitching?
No, he was just wandering around. I was like, is that Dorian?
He bitched to me for 30 minutes about how everybody was using his likeness everywhere, but he got no money for everybody using his picture. He was really, and his mother had just passed too.
Oh, okay.
So he was a combination of his mother passing, his brother screwing him, trying to get everything that was his mom's, and then nobody like giving him any love for using his image.
It was a weird experience for him. Have that moment in time
Yeah.
where like he was outed as Satoshi.
Yeah, and then he
Clearly
did
wasn't.
nothing.
Yeah.
It was nothing.
Poor guy.
Yeah, really. He was thrown into the limelight that he never wanted to be in.
Well, but then he chose to come to a conference, so he must have
Yeah.
been paid.
Yeah, he must have been paid.
Yeah.
He was paid to be there by somebody. I can't remember who.
Yeah.
But like I said, he would show me, he goes, look, there's my picture on that artwork over there. Think they gave me anything? No. I mean, and those weren't his exact words because it's been a long time, but that's about what it amounted to. He was nice as could be.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think I got a photo with him somewhere.
yeah, I was going, why didn't I take a photo with him?
Yeah. Well, Gary, this was just amazing.
Well, I appreciate you having me on. I've enjoyed talking and learning a little bit about football.
And offsides. We're going to get you to a game. You will love it. Listen, anyone listening, go to Bit. If you're not coming to Chico, go to BitBlockBoom. Or just go anyway, because Gary, his event is based on more experience than
Is that
ours.
the name of your event, Cheat Code?
Yeah, cheat code. Yeah, we tried to. I wanted to not have Bitcoin in the name. I'm trying to.
So in case you switch over to shitcoins, you can keep
No, that's a good point. Yeah, no, it's to try and. Where I am in Bedford, if someone sees a Bitcoin event, they're not going to come. I want them to think wider than.
Oh,
I want to talk about the problems and the solutions rather than just say Bitcoin ideologically. Just trying to do so. I'm a marketing guy.
Yeah.
I spent 20 years in advertising, so that was my thing. Gary, let's not wait 6 years to do this again.
yeah, I enjoyed it completely.
Yeah,
Thanks,
thank you.
Danny. I appreciate
Thank you for coming in.
All right, man. Well, I guess. Am I seeing you later? Are you coming to the event?
Yeah, I'm doing a panel on that Friday.
Well, then I will see you Friday.
Yeah. I don't like to speak anymore. That's too much work. Panels are okay.
Panels are okay.
You either know the subject or you don't. You don't have to get prepared for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't like doing the hosting anymore. I'm too tired now.
Yeah, that's understandable. You'll be doing all the hosting here. You're doing the hosting here. Aren't you the
Well,
MC?
no, I'm doing an interview.
Okay, I thought you were the MC.
No, I'm not the MC. No, I'm not the
Okay.
MC.
Who's the MC?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. But I've done it. I started off I did both days of Bitcoin San Francisco, and it's tiring. I've done both days of Honey Badger a couple of times, and now I do like quarter days. But I'm even at that point. I'm like,
I have all attendees do all the introductions of speakers, so that I don't really have an MC. I have myself as the MC, but I just like welcome people and say it's time to take a break, and say come back next year.
that's basically what I'm going to do, and hand over the reins to Danny for everything else.
Well, Joe Hall's going to do the emceeing, isn't he?
Yeah, Joe Hall's actually MCing for us.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, we've got to try and get a few British people in.
Yeah, that's understandable since it's a British event.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Gary, all the
Thanks.
best, man. Thank you.
I've enjoyed it.